Hi guys, Togre here with a new video, and this video we will talk about my Dragonflight PvP wishlist and what I want to actually see different from Shadowlands. I'm going to keep it gameplay wise, and I'm not going to talk about systems, about arenas that I want to have, or different PGs maps, or like 6v6 RBGs that I would like to see in the future. I have already discussed that in previous videos, but I want to actually see different gameplay. So I'm going to give you a few reasons or a few things that I want actually to see changed and give also some reasoning behind it. So before we start, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. I do PvP content from World of Warcraft, Wrath of the Lich King, or actually any other MMO where I'm actually playing on, but for now it's only World of Warcraft because there is no real worthwhile MMO out there at the moment. And also follow the Twitch stream that I also have written down in the description below. Helps me a ton too, so you can catch me on stream. I might stream tonight. And also like the video if you like the video, and comment below what your wish list could be for Dragonflight, gameplay wise, system wise, or whatever you want to see. You will see some PvP background footage. It has nothing to do with Dragonflight, but at least you have something to watch. But you also can put me on the background while you are cooking or eating or whatever you're doing. You can of course listen to the video because everything is done as a manner where you don't need to watch the video. So what do I want to actually see changed in Dragonflight? I'm going to be honest, my first and foremost on my wish list would be that they need to change the gameplay from a CD reliant meta and go back to a more classical way of playing the game. When I'm talking about that, I'm talking about TBC, Wartalk. I'm also talking about Cataclysm and Mist of Pandaria. Mist of Pandaria had CDs, but it was not only reliant on CDs. I felt like I could kill people even without CDs. The kits were overloaded because everyone, every class, every spec could do everything, but I still think mob was probably the top expansion for PvP. So instead of having Dark Soul, for example, for Affliction every 2 minutes, or Recklessness, that they could put a bit of power less on those abilities and give it back to the normal abilities that you have, like for example a bloodthirst on fury warriors, or for example slam, having it be noticeable whenever you're doing it, because now slam is just a filler. You don't even need to press slam as an arms warrior, just do ignore pain, because to be honest it has more value. Same for affliction warlocks, like outside of your CDs your dots are not hitting that hard, and I feel like your kill potential are really reliant on Dark Soul, Rapid Contagion, or a silly dispel from the healer, or for example spamming Malefic Ruptures whenever they are not focusing you, but that doesn't happen. Like, I feel like your kill pressure outside of CDs is way too low. The defensive CDs are way too big. So I would just tone down those offensive CDs, those defensive CDs, and put it back into the normal spells that you have for every spec, every class. So I hope they do that. From the looks of it, they are not really doing that, since some Dragonflight talents from druids, from DKs, and now from priests, you still see big CDs. But I hope they buff the normal spells, like for example Incinerate from Warlocks. Already discussed it in my Wartalk video about Warlocks. Incinerate actually does big damage whenever you can actually cast it, and sometimes you get an instant cast. Like, some you can give some power back to those abilities whenever you're going to get out, like that power from Dark Soul, for example, for Affliction Warlocks, or for example Destruction Warlocks. Try, that's my second wish list, or like wish that I would have for Dragonflight. Try to remove a bit of this mobility creep. Whenever I'm saying mobility creep, it is the abundance of a mobility that classes have on retail. It's quite obvious whenever you play Wartalk or TBC or any other expansion that it has gone a bit out of hand. Like Fury Warriors having crushing blows, charges built into it. I feel it's nice for the Fury Warrior, but it's not nice for whoever you're playing against. A caster, his job was, to be honest, kiting the melees. That was always a thing. And now some casters just resolve to actually just stand there and be a turret because they don't have any chance to actually kite that warrior, except whenever they succeed. But even then, they have like even double charge. They can also leap. They can also just crushing blows whenever they have recklessness. Same for arms warriors, they have double charge, which is good because you give up that stun. You have leap, which is good. It has always been that way, but it stops like that, which is a probably a good indication of a class that is actually balanced in a good way. But also, for example, Warlock Soul Shape, hopefully it's gone. That should be also removed. Or, for example, double blink on Frost Mages, Fire Mages, that should also be removed. Keep blink. Blink is a very good defensive CD. You can blink out of stuns, which was always the case. Good for you. But you should just try to remove a bit of mobility. Also, Other Time. Other Time is a bit too big of a CD. It has no real CD timer, like a 1 minute CD for Fire and Frost, sometimes 30-second CD for Arcane, which is also a big defensive CD because it has a big duration, but also it's purgeable, but not everyone can purge. So versus some classes you're going to have full value, and some classes you have zero value. So I would just kind of trim down those CDs in duration or in CD reliance. So instead of a 1 minute CD, it's a 2 minute CD, for example. So I would just remove a bit of mobility. Same for demon hunters, same for druids, same for everyone. Druids should be still mobile, but you should be able to be kited for some reason. And some classes are not kiteable, which is good because the class fantasy is built around that. For example, a feral druid, or for example, a demon hunter, or maybe a windwalker. But you should not give mobility to every class. I feel like Retribution Paladin has zero mobility except a movement speed buff, which is a Cavalier talent that you can take, which is 2 times. For example, you can Cavalier 2 times, or you just Cavalier 1 time, and then you're quite of a um, bad mobility spec. You are already a bad mobility spec, but that's also a good reason to say that every class should be on that level, which has no mobility. Like for example, DKs, their mobility is tied to actually gripping people, so it's actually CC, but also being un slowable because you cannot be really slowed under 70% movement speed. I think that's their class fantasy. It's very good because you don't really have a leap, you don't have a blink, you don't have anything of that. So I guess that's a good way to balance the game. You have so many other specs, like for example, Shadow Priest has no mobility. That's good if you can kite people. Like people that have no mobility, for example, Warlock should not have that much mobility, but now you have Portal and Gate. I guess it's alright. Gate and also the teleportation, which is alright, but I would say that you should not have classes designed around mobility. You should have classes designed around kiting, slowing, rooting, trying to stop those melees to come on you. And if you succeed, then you have an easier time. If you don't succeed and you like fuck it up somewhere, then actually you will be punished because of the damage that they can provide. Now, for example, Frost Mage or Fire Mage, whenever they are caught out and they are like in melee form versus a Fury Warrior, should just fall over. Point. Without a healer, he should be dead somehow, some way, and not being healing themselves with shields because that's not their fantasy. Again, I feel like just nerf the mobility. That's a big thing. I think they will not do that because retail just feels like this. And now, if you keep the mobility away, I feel like people will have an outcry. But that's the best way to actually provide nerfs to damage, because whenever you are removing the mobility, actually you can buff the damage or nerf the damage for certain classes, because then you can actually give some balancing around that. I would also say that healers should be able to heal damage. I don't want dampening games, that's for sure, but I don't want to have healers actually quit the game because they cannot heal their targets because something gets one-shotted. Give like I said, offensive CDs and defensive CDs tone down, but those healing spells and those damaging spells tone up, and then you have a better game, in my opinion. Actually, feels rewarding to play and less of a chess game, because now you pop an offensive CD, I pop a defensive CD. I pop a defensive CD, you pop an offensive CD to counteract. But also, in general, you will have always a moment where you are always trading things to actually compensate for the enemy or for your allies. But that should not really have like everything to do with arenas. It wasn't that case in Warthog. It wasn't really the case in Cataclysm. It became the case in MOP, and then in Ward, Legion, and BFA. It got out of hands, and now Shadowlands is just tracking back to the BFA level now. So I feel like they need to nerf that. I feel like the power creep should also be toned down somehow, some way. Still keep the crits actually relevant. So I feel like whenever you're critting, it is rewarding to see someone crit. So I feel like they should go back to the Water case where the further we are in an expansion, the easier you have to get crits in your kit. So whenever you're doing big crits, it's going to be very satisfying. I feel like they need to give you more liberty to actually choose your stats. So put back reforging into the game. That's more a system, it's not gameplay. But I would say like reforging would be a very good thing, because then you can have any pieces and then you reforge it with gold, whatever. It's also gold sync, which is also very good for the inflation, because you want to actually deflate the gold. You want to actually give gold more value, but you need to deflate the amount of gold actually available to everyone. So now everyone is rich, and you have also very poor ones. But I would say that if they give like a percentage of your gold, or if you have 200k, reforging costs more than whenever you're poor, for example. It's a bit of communistic feature, but I would say it's probably a good reason to actually implement for those gold values to be toned down. So those are really my gameplay suggestions for arenas and PvP. I feel like the big reasons people are leaving right now is not gameplay relevance, but it's also a very big thorn for a lot of players. People just don't enjoy the actual meta. Although I feel like the meta is not that bad, I feel like they could just improve the CD reliance to be a lot less. And when I say improve, I mean just remove that CD reliance. Go back to whenever you're doing a garrote, or whenever you're doing backstab, or whatever ability you're pressing, or mutilate, it actually gives meaningful damage. You're not thinking like, okay, I'm just doing fillers for my big attacks, or I'm doing like a bit of gaining on the arenas to actually have those CDs up, so I can do vendetta and kill someone with a sepsis, for example. I feel like we should just go away from that and go back to actually having damage at all times, and then healers will also have a better time to heal, because they will feel engaged all the time. They will not feel obliged to press a defensive CD on the second that someone does an offensive CD, because whenever you don't do that, that guy dies. Remember those vendetta goes, like sepsis goes, and you're not pressing like pain suppression like 2 or 3 seconds after it, you're dead. You need to press it, like you even need to pre-press it, because you are going to die if you're not doing it. So it's very interesting to actually see and go towards that direction. So I don't know what you guys are thinking. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about my suggestions. Do you have other suggestions? It's a bit unscripted, so that's why it's a bit all over the place, but I would like to know what your opinion is. Please subscribe to the channel if you like those kinds of content. Also, follow the stream so I can actually interact with you guys, say hello, ask questions. I will always respond and always give honest answers. And thank you for watching this video. Like the video if you like the video, and let me know in the comment section below what you think about the video. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.